Hello everyone, welcome to the interview. My name is Michael, also known as Base Grid or Grid, and today we will be conducting an interview with someone special, the CEO of the Speedwagon Foundation, a based gamer and a true American patriot, Manrid. Hello.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Should be good then.
If you want to, if you want to introduce yourself, however you like.
All right. I guess I'm the administrator for Lord Manrid Mountain Blade memes. Manrid returns. Nothing can stop what's coming, and the Speedwagon Foundation. My name's David, and yeah, pretty much just what I do lately is just do that and play RuneScape. That's all I really do.
Okay, that's nice. That's really nice. So, how are you today?
I'm good. Today's a pretty cool day. Like I've been apart from my hometown for a little while, so I ended up coming back today and seeing a few friends, and it's pretty cool. It's just been pretty surreal to be back. I haven't seen anything from around here in like a few months. So with the whole quarantine stuff going on, it's been a wild few months. Yeah.
It was a really tough time for everyone in the world.
It definitely has been shitty for everyone to have to wear masks and things like that, but hopefully we won't have to anymore. All right, sounds good. I just it's this Discord chat. I've never done it before, so when it goes silent, I'm not used to it.
Don't worry, I will message you if something breaks. I'm a little bit slow with English. It's not my native language, so I sometimes need to just sit there and think about what I should say. To translate my Polish thoughts into English words.
I hear you on that. Sometimes it's hard for me to translate like my English thoughts into English words, so I definitely know what you mean. Just trying to pick the right thing to say usually it can be hard, whatever setting. But yeah, it's definitely cool to be able to do this for the first time, do like a interview type situation. I haven't really it's been all text pretty much, through Facebook and stuff. I don't usually make videos or take pictures or anything, so I feel like it's a cool thing to do.
That's why I wanted to start all of this, to better know the people that want to make changes in the world, even with simple Facebook pages. Yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying yeah, you're right. Like people should know who's behind like these pages and stuff. Obviously, like if there's at least 100 or whatever followers, like somebody should know who runs the page. So it's definitely nice to be able to do this, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Because it's better than me just introducing myself or whatever, really, and like doing a video like that. Like this is definitely a good way to do it.
I think it's a really nice cooperation.
Yeah, it is. So do you want to introduce yourself too, or?
I did this before, but I can. My name is Michael.
Oh yeah.
But you probably know this. You can also know me as Greed or Based Greed. It's not because I'm greedy, because I have the greed for being based.
That's awesome.
I think also that's awesome. So I have some more questions for you, if you don't have anything else to say.
No, yeah, shoot, definitely we'll do the questions. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just been kind of busy, so today's the day.
So yeah, do you have any hobbies besides being based, of course, on Facebook and playing RuneScape?
I like to look at history a lot. Lately there's a lot of manuscripts and just different history and photographs that have gotten released from different sources. Like I know the Vatican released a lot of their stuff from their library, and that stuff is pretty crazy. There's so much of it to go through. So I like history, just knowing what happened and trying to figure out what happened. Sometimes there's things you can draw from history, like different ways to like make things and sculpt things, and whatever else, what I mean, the technological stuff. But apart from that, I like a healthy amount of anime. Like I like shit with like fighting, robots. Like I like Transformers too, what I mean? Like the ones that turn into cars and shit like that.
Yes, of course.
That's pretty much like the extent of my hobbies though. Like it doesn't really, like I'll get obsessed with certain shit, like certain animes or whatever. Like I used to really be into Naruto last year, and that was just because of like one game I played. So like
I get you.
Some stuff like I fall out of interest with, but really like big hobbies is like history and shit like that. Like I definitely can't not be enthusiastic about learning about shit. So if you want to hide something, you put it in a book. You know what I mean?
That's what I did with my money. I hid it in a book.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to.
So okay,
But
So yeah, you have a really big hobby about history. Maybe some music. You play something, or you have your favorite bands?
I used to listen to a lot of music. Lately, not so much. I'll just listen to like, you know, whatever people are listening to around me. I have a friend that makes music. He makes really good music. You know, like rap and hip hop music, stuff like, you know, just stuff with like thoughtful like lyrics and wordplay, you know. So like I know people that have made music. Like I'm not great really myself at it, but like I do like music. It's just, it's not something that like I get really like lost in. You know, like history is something I can get lost in really, but not really music. It's hard to, sometimes it's hard to, you know?
No, I get you. You sometimes can't focus on something when the music is blasting from around you.
Yeah, and I guess the thing about music too is like I view it like there's so much of it that I could never learn it and listen to it all. But with history, there's only really one Earth, you know? So like I could watch something that's an hour long and learn about like 1,000 years of history. So like I don't, it just in my mind, I time it differently, I guess. It's hard to say. Like I could, you know, you could draw so much more from like history, I guess, than versus music sometimes, you know?
I understand. It's a really different point of view from mine, but really interesting.
I do like music. Like I like I remember I used to really be like into listening to throat singing, like last year especially, like Mongolian throat singing, like different, like you know the type of music
yes, of course,
that I mean.
I understand.
You know?
It's really.
There's a few songs that I really used to listen to. I have them on a playlist. But when it comes to music, I'll listen to the same stuff a lot, you know? Like I listen to you know, like the Red Army like chorus music that they had, the choir music. Like some of that stuff is really crazy, you know, to listen to. A lot of folk music.
Yes, I despise and hate communists, but fuck, they had a really nice choir. They had a really nice music.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, the music is, you know, like, cause like at least now, like all that shit is pretty much over with. Like you can just kind of focus on, you know, the shit that got left behind, like the music, really the folk songs and stuff that they put into the Red Army choir music. Like some of that stuff is just, you hear the voices and like the shit that they sing about, man. Like they're singing about like pre-Red Army shit, you know what I mean? You know, like it's just folk songs that they had to add in to be legitimate, you know what I mean? They have to do that with folk stuff, you know, they have to add it into their fucking propaganda. But like if you subtract the propaganda, just look at certain songs, like some of them were really fucking cool. Like it's hard to say, you know.
I get
but,
what
like,
you're saying. And
my bad, go ahead.
No, it's not a problem. But I 100% agree with you. Their music is really nice.
Yeah, music is good. I just I don't know. I used to be lost in it, but it's hard to get lost in music sometimes.
With the things that were happening in the past year, I'm really not.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean exactly. You know, this year has been really hard for the whole world. It's fucked up.
Okay, so maybe something much less important and maybe some more fun. Why Mountain Blade means so much to you?
Oh, why Mountain Blade? You said?
Why? Why did you choose Mountain Blade?
I fucking love Mountain Blade. That's a game I could get lost in because it's, in a way, it's just like history. You know, I had a really good history teacher when I was in middle school. And since then, you know, you just look at shit differently. You know, like when you hear about stories of like when somebody, like a different group gets the drop on like the group in power, you know, and they're throwing people down the stairs and the people are landing on like bikes and shit. Like it's just like there was once upon a time like where people were really doing a lot of crazy stupid shit, and I'm glad like we really kind of don't have to anymore. We don't have to live like that. But back then, like they would just do shit and then write shit down later, you know what I mean? It's crazy time, you know, when you think of history. So like when I think of Mountain Blade, obviously you gather, you know, the war band of men, you know, you kind of do what you can to get the dinars flowing at first and shit. You know, you get like 30, 50, like 60 guys, and then you start really training them, you know, and before you know it, you know, you have like a group of about 50 guys that are all like perfectly trained, you know what I mean? They could use their shields, use their axes, you know what I mean? And you know, you just run into places where people normally sit around and make decisions and just fucking change history, you know what I mean? It's something fascinating about it.
Basically what goons are trying to do on Facebook.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean, Silicon Valley, these Facebook, you know, tech executive people and shit, really, I have a sense that they've really been doing some dirty shit, you know what I mean? Like it's not like they're just censoring people, you know. Like you got to figure
They have
how
a
does a
purpose.
person how does
They
a
have-
person get to the point of censoring someone, you know. Like what are they really doing, you know what I mean, that they don't want people to talk about. So
They have a purpose in
You know.
censoring, yes. They must have a purpose to censor someone because they did some shady things.
yeah, that's what I think, you know. Like if you're gonna go around censoring people, like you don't do that for no reason, you know. You don't do that because it's the natural recourse to a better place. Like no, you do that because you hide shit, you know what I mean. The only reason to censor people, you know, is because you don't want them talking about what you're doing, you know. It's like it's so fucking it's 1+1 at this point when it comes to the censorship. Like I feel like people know, you know. People aren't dumb.
They know, but they maybe are afraid to speak up because they can be censored too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't know, you know, because there were times in history where, you know, the consequence versus like what you had to do was like maybe you'd get fucking like really shot at, you know what I mean, or you know, like cut down by cavalry or whatever, you know, like that was the consequence versus censorship, you know what I mean. But people still ran in, so maybe it's just, you know, let them censor you, you know what I mean, or you know, not let them, but let them do it to everybody, see what happens, you know what I mean. Try to censor everybody. You know, like nothing good is gonna come for it for them. It's a balance that they have to maintain. If you're gonna censor people, it's about fear. You know what I mean? You have to. If you're censoring someone, you want the next person to be afraid that they'll be censored. You know what I mean? So you have to get past that and break their balance on it. You know, if they're gonna censor people, fine, fucking censor everybody and see what happens. You know what I mean? See if people want to be shut up. You know what I mean? You know, that's how.
Maybe
I
they
view
just
it.
don't see what's coming for them.
Yeah, they can't censor everybody, you know. There's too many people, you know what I mean.
Of course. And again, we have read it on a more controversial topic. Let's get back to Mountain Blade. So, your favorite kingdom? You make one yourself or you join someone?
Usually when I play Mountain Blade, I'll usually start out working for King Harlaus because I don't want his kingdom to just die immediately, you know. And then from then on, depending on which faction is weaker or stronger, I'll join the weaker faction out of these two. I'll join the Nords or the Vaegrs because I want, you know, them to both stay around until late game. You know what I mean? And so like those three kings probably, like maybe in that order, like Harlaus, Ragnar, and King Jarlglek. Like they're all the best. The other kings are illegitimate.
So, the medieval Europe, the Slavs and the Nords, I understand.
Yeah.
So okay, you mentioned anime, so best JoJo. Which one of the JoJos is the best one? Which of the JoJos you like the most?
Oh, alright, like so like which character from
Which
the
main
Joestar
character?
lineage?
Yes.
I would say Joseph Joestar. He's the coolest. Like he's probably lived the longest, you know, and definitely has like the most abilities. Probably like the funniest out of all of them. So definitely Joseph Joestar. Like when he's older too, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
the thing about that show, man, it's funny. Like when Joseph Joestar was younger, like he sounded like kind of like a fucking like a pretty boy, like a Nancy boy or whatever. You know what I mean? He had like a wimpy kind of voice, and then you know he grows up, he has that gruff voice. But like then you see Jotaro, right? And Jotaro's voice is like tough ever since he was young. So it's just like kind of a funny thing that they do with the characters, you know? Like the older characters from back then, you know what I mean? Like Jonathan Joestar and Joseph Joestar were definitely more innocent, and you know, it's a cool progression that they did for an anime to have characters that is like one is descended or related after the other, you know? So it makes it a good show to watch.
You watched
Like I like.
You watched
My
the
bad,
dub
go
or
ahead.
the sub? You watched it with the
Sorry.
subtitles in the original Japanese, or did you watch the dubbed version in English?
Usually watch it in English because like when I'm watching it, like I'm laying down, so I kind of gotta watch it sideways almost. But like there's parts that I watch it in Japanese. You know, like when Kakyoin does the thing with the cherry or whatever, like the lick sound effect, like that's way better in the Japanese dub. So like I'll switch it over for certain stuff, but like that's about it. You know what I mean?
So English Jotaro is very famous voice actor, but of course I forgot his name. It's the McCree from Overwatch.
Oh no, I wish I knew. I don't know like any of the voice actors like that, like the names. He's still there?
Mercer. Yes. I wanted to remind myself. His name is Matthew Mercer. He's a really brilliant game master for Dungeons and Dragons game on Twitch. I really recommend if you like this kind of things. and he is a really good voice actor for Jotaro, I must say. But I still prefer the Japanese version.
I'm gonna have to watch it the second way through because, like, I think for the first one I wanted to watch it in English so I could pretty much just catch everything. But then, as I know what's going on, like, I could probably pay attention to the subtitles a little bit better. So I think that's how I'm gonna watch it the second time through, and I'm definitely gonna check out that voice actor too.
Okay, so we are staying in the Jojo topic. Best arc, best part. Which of the parts you like the most?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I think the one, when they're fighting the zombie guy or whatever, not the zombie, like the vampire dude, San Viento, when they're fighting him and that German dude focuses the UV light on him and shit right after he did the transformation, and it was too late and it was bad to focus the UV light on him, like it powered the San Viento guy up. That shit is probably the best one,
Okay.
So, like, yeah, that's probably my favorite arc, San Viento arc. Like, it just seemed so crazy. Like, that guy seemed so powerful.
So we are staying in the best boy Joseph in the part 2.
Come again? I couldn't hear you.
God damn it! I said that we are still staying with the best boy Joseph in the part 2.
Oh, alright.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. You mentioned some other anime that you watch, the Naruto, or I've seen that you liked Gundam. Anything to say about this?
Naruto is really cool. I think it's fascinating how it, like, in Naruto, his and Sasuke's lineage came from, like, Indra and Ashura, like the Indian, like, gods or whatever. I feel like it's interesting how they showed that connection in the anime like that, because, like, those are very, like, Indian gods, right? Like, the people that they're talking about, Indra and Ashura, but their descendants turn out to be people in the Naruto world, which is, what you think of as a very, like, Asian, like almost Japanese type thing, but yeah, I feel like Naruto is an interesting one because there's certain things, like certain movies in Naruto too, where they'll show more than they explicitly talk about in the movie. Like, if you know what to spot in history, you'll be really fascinated by Naruto, and you kind of tie it into, like, other things. Like, not in, like, a real level where, like, these people really fucking existed as they were in the cartoon, but, like, people like that existed, once upon a time in India, where they could do things that were amazing, like, with their life energy. Like, they could heal people and, I'm sure jump really high and have super strength and things like that. Like, these people probably really did used to exist, and the whole Naruto timeline is, like, kind of a way to remember it,
I was
like,
always thinking about
they
Naruto.
Drew a lot from real history when they made that.
I was always thinking about Naruto in the lines of, yeah, it's another shonen, another kids battling each other for the show. I was never informed. I never learned that it was based off something in the real history and in the really colorful Indian religion.
Yeah, given it's kind of deep history, it's old history. The Vedic history is pretty old, so, like, that's where they're really trying to say, like, it came from, and it's interesting in the sense that in the Naruto story, right, Indra and Ashura were brothers, and they were descendants of, I forgot the guy's name in the story, but they were descendants of somebody else, and they were basically, like, they were aliens at first, they were human beings sort of that went around and they planted things called, like, I think spirit trees, basically, and the spirit tree would suck up all the energy in the planet that they visited to, and then they would come back later and take that energy in, and become powerful. And that's, that I don't know if that's real or not. That's just what the story was in the fucking Naruto thing, to give it, a solid plot line, pretty much. But the whole Indra and Ashura thing, like, these people back then had manifested somehow, from the gods or whatever else. And I just think it's very interesting how they tied that in to, Naruto and Sasuke's bloodline, because it's really fucking complicated. I don't want to get into it. It's like a whole thing, and I haven't thought about it in a long time too, but yeah, it's pretty cool. If I was gonna tell you to check out one Naruto movie, check out Naruto and the Stone of Gel-El. It's a really, really cool movie, and I think the stuff that they describe in that movie it's like beyond written shit, Like, at one point we had Atlantis, right? And Atlantis fell, and then the remnants of Atlantis went everywhere else. you know, and some of them had like technological, you know, stuff, leftover things from Atlantis and shit that they took with them. And that's kind of what the Naruto movie, The Stone of Galel, shows. You know, like, yeah, there's a lot of shit about Naruto I could go over.
Okay, thank you very much for the recommendation. I will for sure check it out.
Yeah, it's a good one, and if you need to ask me, like, I'll remember like the title of it later to tell you.
No
if
problem.
You need to ask later.
I'm writing the important stuff down, and I will be, re-listening to everything you said, and we'll be making subtitles for everything. So no problem. But thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate how much effort you're putting into this. Like, this is it's not a light task. So like, I appreciate
I already made the purchases of the equipment, and it will be just a waste to not use this. And it's really fun to do all the things, to stream and to do these interviews.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. It's different. You know, I haven't really done anything like this in a while. Like, I barely ever talk on the phone with people I do know, you know, like, so it's, I mean, people I know in real life, like, in person. But yeah, it has to happen, I guess. I feel like everybody's social skills are like a few months back with this whole quarantine thing that we went through, and like myself, I feel no different. Been a while since I've talked to a lot of people, but I don't know, it's for the best, I guess. Some things need to be paid attention to now rather than later, and that's just the mode I'm at. Like some shit I have to tell people about.
I get you. Okay, so we had the fun, the hobby questions. Let's go to the more important things, like what for you means really being based?
Man, to me it just means being like good, like knowing God, really trusting God, you know what I mean? And then, if you can be healthy, live healthy, you know what I mean? If you can be muscly, you know what I mean? You be whatever you want type of thing, it's pretty much just like just living how you want without having to fucking affect anybody else. That's what being based is like for me.
Okay.
Like nobody's like toes have to be stepped on and shit, you know what I mean? Like in the fucking the grand game of life, like people are fucking smart enough to just live now, I think. And I know there's different times in history where people used to get along for real, They don't like to talk about those times, but there were times when people lived in peace, you know what I mean? It's not impossible. I feel like it's gonna come.
Basically, right now for most
like
of the world...
This year. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Basically, right now for most of the world, it is the peacetime. We have the most amount of time between really big wars in the history of ever, probably. So.
And that's the way it should be. Like, nobody should have to fucking die for dumb shit anymore.
I agree.
It's just everybody's smart enough now, I feel like we could really do it. People are smart enough to live in peace.
Okay, so the really important question. Why have you founded the Speedwagon Foundation?
At first it was just a joke, and then I realized like I could potentially have this so that other people have a platform where they could, speak about shit that's important to them, you know what I mean? So I just feel like it's a good thing. Not sometimes, but like some people need platforms where they could just speak, We've had times in our history, like, during the 90s, during the early 2000s, when people needed to speak about shit and they had no way to do it. So I pretty much just have it as like a platform to like share news and shit like that, like share news articles and videos, just simple stuff. Okay. All right, so next question.
If you can summarize the goal of the foundation, like the basic goal will be the platform, yes?
I would say like pretty much the same goals as the one in the anime, you know what I mean? Like they were big on, I think it was like, it's slipping my mind right now, but the things that they were big on was like medical breakthroughs, like medical technology, I think like wildlife conservation, stuff like that. But I mean, obviously, like it's not the same world as it is in the anime. Like right now we have problems where it's really just, like deeply seated corruption and all fucking levels of government, that people have to deal with right now. So like that's pretty much like the things I've been focused on really is just, if and when there's corruption, like I want it to be known and talked about, like so that people get to the bottom of it, like I remember early this year the left side of politics in the States and right in the United States, they used to say that voter fraud didn't happen. They said that voter fraud isn't a thing. And then I remember just recently 3 people from that party were charged for voter voter fraud within 3 days. So, it's just, if we're ever gonna fucking live in a good place, like, we can't be having like little fucking goblins and shit try to run things, people that like try to cheat while voting and fucking steal people's tax money and shit. My friend, no, our friend Giant Slayer, he was telling me about how where he lives, his government fucking spent like millions on voter ID, right, to some German company, and then the coronavirus or whatever happened, it made it so that the millions of dollars that they put into voter ID was just lost, all that tax money from Montenegro. You know what I mean? It's just shit like that. Like when they're really mishandling everybody's money, like that's not good for everybody. So like that's a big issue. It's just corruption is really what I'm kind of focused on right now.
The same thing happened in Poland recently, that about $17.5 million were spent on voting cards that were nullified after the date of the voting was
son of a bitch. I fucking hate when that shit happens, man. It's just like it gets to a point where it's like enough is enough. You know what I mean? People fucking, they work for that money. They fucking bleed for that money. You know what I mean? That tax money. It's not just, it's not just pieces of paper at that point. Maybe it was before they earned it, but you get what I'm saying? Like people really fucking do a lot for that tax money. I know like America has tons of fucking tax money for whatever reason, but other countries don't have as much. So like it's just so shitty when the government mishandles it. Like fuck that, I don't want that to happen to people. Who knows what they do with the millions,
Okay.
It's frustrating.
At first you said after founding the foundation that everyone is invited to join. Is this still really true?
Pretty much just like, everyone, unless you're like, a fucking obvious communist or like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you are about God, honor, family, country, you know what I mean? Like you're pretty much allowed in, but like anybody that's willing to fucking sell out their own fucking group or race or whatever, like no, that's not allowed. You know what I mean? You can't have fucking rats like that in the group, So it's pretty much just like that. Like you just can't be like an obvious piece of crap. You know what I mean? Like, no communists, no like shitheads pretty much, and I feel like everybody that's there is like pretty good people. So it's looking good so far. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like there's no real like signs of like trolls or anything like that right now. So it's looking good.
Are you okay with some personal questions maybe?
Yeah, a few. You can do a few.
Okay. So do you lift?
No, not much. I, like personal reasons, I guess, like I don't work out that much. Like I had broken my neck a few years ago and like it doesn't hold me back really completely. Like I could still fucking lift shit, but I'm just careful, I remember there was one point where I had like quite a bit of muscle on my arms and it used to really hurt my neck and my shoulders, you know what I mean? So like I have to keep like a lean balance, I guess, when it comes to muscle, or else like it bothers my neck. But like I do exercise, like I can walk for like decent distances, you know what I mean? It's not like that big of a deal. Like I'm not like weak by any means really, but I just don't like, I'm not like powerlifting or anything right now, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Just yeah,
So after the most important question, of course, what do you do for a living?
I'm actually disabled, man. Like fucking living in the United States, and I'm disabled because when I had broken my neck, I actually went back to work and like worked for like another year or two, and then after that they had let me go because my speed and like my fatigue would build up. You know what I mean? Like I would have a lot of like muscle fatigue and shit like that, and I was starting to have like different problems with like nerve pain and shit like that throughout my neck and my back. So ended up like not working for a while, and I tried to get jobs here and there, like ones that I could actually do, but you know how it is, like if you're a male pretty much with only high school level experience and like some warehouse experience, other shit like farm experience, like they're not gonna like hire you really for positions that where you just stand up all day. You know what I mean? They were pretty much just trying to hire me for jobs where I would work with my back. You know what I mean? So just after a while, a few years had passed, and the nerve pain just got to a point where it was pretty bad. You know what I mean? So pretty much disabled from like nerve and bone pain and shit. Like I'm ultimately pretty lucky. I mean, I've broken my neck. So it's not like, it's not like I should be in perfect shape, but like at least I can walk, I can still lift things, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm a poor thing right now, you know what I mean? Like I'm still alive, is my point, you know what I mean? I'm still able to walk and shit, so I'm good.
I'm very sorry for you that you had
Nah,
an
don't
accident.
feel sorry. It happens, bro. Like, I'm lucky to not be paralyzed. So, just thank God for that every day. And, you have to. You have to. You know what I mean?
So
Well,
you're basically shit posting for a living right now.
I don't like to think of it like that, but I don't know, sort of in a way. I mean,
Sorry for that.
really when it comes to like reality and changing things, I don't just try to just do what I think is right. I try to like see what God thinks is right, and then work toward that, whatever I can make sense of that to be. So I don't know. Seems like somehow I was just allowed to survive and then do this. Strange when you think about it all at once, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the shit posting is, I don't know. It's a good thing. I mean, I've seen a positive change, like with some people it brings them like genuine happiness, and like other people really do like to see like certain news articles and videos that they care about, and then I don't know, I just think it's good for people sometimes to have a little group where they can go and just talk about the world and shit, you know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Like
this...
open communities are like the best thing, you know what I mean? Because like an open community, like nobody's stuck there, you know what I mean? They can just be there if they want to, and that's how you gonna have a community if nobody wants to be there. Sort of how Facebook got to be. Like, nobody really wants to be on Facebook, but like if we're gonna be here, you know what I mean, if we're gonna be under these corrupt fucking rules, might as well try to push back against it a little bit, you know what I mean? Don't let them censor all of us, it's a funny thing, man. It's a funny thing because Facebook is like a double-edged sword. Like, some of it's really great, but at the same time, like, how many people have been fucking spied on? How many people have been fucking kidnapped through people using Facebook? You know what I'm saying? Facebook is good and it's bad.
Of course, like whole life, it has the two sides of the coin. The bad one and the good one.
Yeah.
There is nothing white or black.
It has to be cleaned up somehow. Facebook has to be. I mean, like, what are we gonna do? Delete everything at this point? Everybody's profiles and their thoughts and their groups, and people use Facebook for business at this point, so like we can't just delete everything. Like, just the dirtier elements have to be scrubbed out, honestly, and the dirty ones, they know who they are, and I'm sure they have lawsuits waiting for them from the federal government, so it's just a matter of time. These lawsuits and shit, lawsuits usually take years and years. These lawsuits, I feel like they'll only take a year or two. These tech lawsuits, where Google and Facebook and Bill Gates and Elon Musk are being charged and forced to cooperate with the federal government in the United States. It's gonna happen. They've been fucking playing around for too long, you know what I mean? Like, they really tried to exercise their power on everybody, like during the election cycle last year in the United States, they wouldn't let, I don't think, any Republicans run ads on Facebook. Like, they banned that as a thing. They did that on Twitter too, it's just really like, you have a group of people that like to fucking pretend they're good, and then they attack everybody's fucking rights, and like, they have the platforms where people have open discussion, you know what I mean? So like, what do? They try to fight us and shit. It's like a never-ending cycle. I don't know.
Why did you mention
there has to
Elon
be an
Musk?
end. Go ahead.
Why did you mention Elon Musk? What did he do?
Oh, Elon Musk? It's hard to say, but like, I saw him listed in the lawsuit that I'm talking about, in the legal document that I read. Forgot exactly what it was. Oh no, I know what it was. I'm surprised I forgot. It's not a pain in the ass. You know how he was trying to do the implantable microchip type deal where people would like, embed their technology within their skin, their head, whatever.
The implanted RFID chips, yes, for things like paying with your card and things like that. Yes?
That was a nefarious plan on his behalf. Like, that was gonna be used against us. You know what I mean? If he was allowed to do that, So like, we were that close to getting, microchips implanted in our heads and shit. And then, what happens then? They can control your health, your heartbeat, your thoughts, everything.
Yeah, I've seen
just a microchip.
I've seen some sci-fi. I've read some sci-fi. I know it's a really bad idea, but I wasn't expecting Elon Musk. I was thinking about him very highly.
I'm pretty sure that's why he was in the lawsuit. Was that product that he was gonna do? That's what got him in trouble.
Many times
I forgot what it's called. But go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, it will be okay. You have many times throughout this interview mentioned God, so I think the religion is really important to you. Can you say a few words about this, maybe?
I would say I'm just a regular Christian, not perfect. I mean, I get angry, I get, sad, you know what I mean? I get fucking frustrated, but ultimately, I believe pretty deeply, and it just is what it is. I mean, I don't think God picks perfect people, so I don't know. I believe, like that. So many times in my life I've asked for help from God, and I've gotten that help. You know what I mean? It's like you can't really go back to not believing after you explicitly ask for help from Jesus and from God. You don't go back to non-believing after shit like that.
That's really, really uplifting when you think about this. That there is really something or someone higher than you that really cares. Maybe not much, but cares as little that it helps you, even a little bit.
I think it's just it might just be an issue of I think there's too many people, not too many people in the sense that there's too many people on earth, but it's too many people for God to pay attention to all at once sometimes, And then there's the other thing where God's plan and perspective is longer and bigger than ours. So, things that don't make sense happen all the time, and then they make sense later, and that's just how it is,
True. Okay, is this fascination, is this really strong belief in you? You have been a religious person from the beginning. Did your family were religious, or did you picked up the religion later?
I would say, I came from like a Catholic family or whatever, but you know how it is in America. Not everybody takes religion seriously because we're living here where everything's the nicest on earth, whatever, how it's been. But I didn't really take God seriously until like later on, like as a young adult, like certain things just clicked and made sense afterward, for whatever reason. Sometimes like you have a harder time as a kid and all that, and then you think, oh man, everything sucks, but then you realize like not everything sucks, just the way it is. Sometimes the world is uncomfortable, you know what I mean? But ultimately, being uncomfortable, you have to grow. So you can look at it one way: we wouldn't have anything if we weren't uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. I had really, really similar experience with the belief and God. So I understand what you mean by this. Of course.
Yeah.
So
feeling like you're alone is part of it, honestly, because like when Jesus came down on earth, right? He felt like he was alone and even forsaken and forgotten at certain points. And ultimately he wasn't. And it's the same thing with us. We're supposed to feel like what it's like to be on our own, because like when you ask for help, it actually feels like help if you're alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is really it's really poetical, if you can call it like this, that we can experience what Jesus felt right there when he was.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of us experience shit just like that. A lot of us know what it's like. I mean, not exactly, but
something
certain
similar.
Times we're meant to relate to certain times.
Okay, I have the final personal question for you. Do you have a wife or any
Sounds
kids?
Good. No, I don't have a wife. Do have a girlfriend though. And didn't have a girlfriend for a while, you know what I mean? But now the girlfriend, she's really nice, she's sweet, I trust her, you know what I mean? Like she's the best kind of girl to have in a place like America, because like she doesn't ask me for a whole lot. Like she's not like demanding really, she's really like perfect girlfriend, I would say. She's really great.
Okay, thank you very much. We are really closing on 1 hour mark, so I have two, faster questions. Pepsi or Coke?
Pepsi or Coke? I would say Coca-Cola because it's red based.
I agree with you, but not because it's red. Favorite alcohol?
No, it is better. It is better than Coke. I mean, it is better than Pepsi. Like Coca-Cola is definitely better. It's definitely better.
Favorite kind of alcohol? What you like best with your Coke?
It's hard to say because I don't drink that much. Like if hardly ever. So like even like pulling a random alcohol from my head, like I don't even know what to pick. I don't remember what I drank last, But what goes with fucking Coke? Well, I don't even know, bro. Like I don't drink that much, so
you are talking with a Slavic person.
I would probably just drink anything with Coke though. Like
you drink vodka with Coke or eventually whiskey.
Last time I drank vodka, bad shit happened, bro. I deleted my Skyrim character last time I drank vodka. Never again.
Rest in peace.
I'll never play video games and drink vodka again.
I really recommend it. Playing Fallout while live streaming and drinking was really fun.
Yeah. No, I mean that was some good streaming though. That was fun.
I'm really trying my best. Thank you very much. Okay, we had some silly questions, maybe something more arms related. You prefer a melee weapon or a gunpowder weapon?
Oh, what's the setting? Oh, like you mean like right now?
Usually.
Or like it's hard to say, bro. I would say like it's hard to pick. Fuck. I would say probably melee weapon. You know what I mean? Some kind, maybe like a nice sword or some shit. It's hard to say.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really you know, I've never had the need to really go and, you know, fuck with guns like that. So, you know, guns have always been more of a video game thing. Like, but like, you know, I'm one of those kids I used to play like with dicks and shit like that, you know. So I'd probably go with the melee weapon.
Okay. Do you smoke?
Only cannabis, so only pot or marijuana, whatever you want to call it. But that's for pain relief and shit. So it's not like I really go out of my way for it.
Any other drugs?
No, not really. I mean, like there's like 1 or 2 prescription drugs for like anti-anxiety, you know, I have for like if like I take like a car ride or whatever, right? And sometimes like I'll be in a car with somebody and they won't drive like quite perfect and it'll make my hands sweat, but that's only because of, you know, like when I broke my neck, it's like a PTSD reaction or whatever. So like I have like 1 or 2 prescription drugs for that, but like that's rare. It's for like really just if like a car ride or some shit is so bad that like I'm nervous, you know.
Okay.
Other than that, it's just cannabis for pain relief pretty much. Like I don't really like to take aspirin or anything else, you know. Let the headache hurt, you know what I mean? That's the type of person I usually am.
You know, you let something hurt you because you know that when it hurts you are living, yes, you are alive.
Yeah, I think so, you know.
Thank you very much for the interview. It was really nice to talk to you about this stuff.
It was cool to be able to do the interview. Thank you a lot for including me, you know what I mean? This is a cool thing, so thank you.
You will be probably the first person to do this. I plan to do this many times with many different persons from around the foundation, you know, around the gun, the based pages. So
nice. I can't wait. I'm just glad that like I'm glad I had time to do it, you know. Like my days have been pretty much just filled up with, you know, hanging out with my girlfriend and stuff, but you know, now I actually like had some time to do this and I'm glad it came out well.